If you missed out on the first batch of Game 3s from the NBA playoffs, you came to the right place. Welcome to TV's Daily NBA Recap, where I recap yesterday's games in a short amount of time. Let's go. The first game I want to discuss is Game 3 between the Toronto Raptors and the Brooklyn Nets, in which the Toronto Raptors absolutely dominated, 117-92. A great all-around performance. Pascal Siakam, 26 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Fred VanVleet, another great game, 22 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Ibaka, fantastic game off the bench as well with 20 and 13. On the Brooklyn Nets side of things, this is the Tyler Johnson game, scoring a career-high 23 points in the absence of Joe Harris, 3 assists as well. Caris LeVert, 15.6 assists, and 14 points from Chris Chiozza off the bench. This game was just pure domination. Right from the get-go, the Raptors just kept hitting shots from deep, and it just really did continue throughout the game. I mean, compared to last game where they only had 9 threes, they doubled the amount of makes this game as they scored 18. And Pascal Siakam just looked really comfortable. I mean, it took him a while to get into his groove, but I mean, he finally had a really good game. And the Raptors defense definitely did lock up. I mean, Timothy Luwawu-Cabarrot, who definitely was a thorn on our side during the majority of this playoff series, went 3 for 18 in this game. Absolutely ugly. Garrett Temple, who had his moments too in the series, had a really horrible game as well, going 2 for 12. And the Raptors just had great contributions all around. And it feels like it's just like every game off the bench, there's like a new guy stepping up. Game 1, Terrence Davis was the one to give us the energy we needed. Norm Powell was fantastic game 2. In this game, it was Serge Ibaka. So when you have like just these type of players like that, the teams like don't always have to prepare for it, in a sense where I'm like, you know, it could be Norm Powell one day, it could be Terrence Davis another day. We haven't even got the Marc Gasol game yet, or an OG Anunoby game. Like, there's just so many options with this team, and you have to account for all of them at some point, because one of them could just easily go off, as shown by Serge in this game. And missing Joe Harris was definitely a miss. I mean, 31% from three-point line after hitting over 50 attempts. Joe Harris would have definitely helped out that three-point percentage. And it was just a really bad offensive night for Brooklyn. They just could not get anything going. And it was just, honestly, the Raptors just looked like they outmatched them. So the Raptors on their way to the first sweep in franchise history. Let's hope they were able to do it. The next game I want to talk about is the Utah Jazz taking on the Denver Nuggets, in which Utah, again, another dominating game, winning 124-87 over the Denver Nuggets to take the 2-1 series lead. Great performances from Mike Conley. I mean, after the first game back after becoming a new father, comes back, 27 points, 4 assists, hitting a career-high 7 threes in this playoff career-high, 7 threes. Donovan Mitchell had a pretty solid game, 20 points, 4 rebounds. But Rudy Gobert, man, this guy was absolutely dominant in the first half, scoring 20 of his 24 points there. And just looked like he absolutely just sunned Jokic the entire game. On the Denver Nuggets side of things, no one could really get their offense going. Jokic, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists on 16 shots. Pretty poor performance. And also, Jamal Murray, 15 points as well. It was just a really, ugly game from Denver. I mean, they just, their offense could not get going. Utah's defense showed why it was one of the best in the league. And their offense, that has completely surprised me throughout this entire playoff run, just continues to shine. I mean, another game where they just absolutely dominated them from the three-point line, hitting 6 more threes, hitting 18, over 50% from the field. I mean, Denver cannot play a lick of defense. They just cannot. And it's definitely hurting them, because when you have Utah, already a great defensive team, which they've shown not just this year, on years prior as well, and then match it with their offense, which looks like it cannot be stopped. I mean, obviously that has to do a lot with the Denver defense, but you have to stop them at some point. I mean, just look at the guys hitting threes. I mean, Conley hit 7 threes. This is his first game back. Georges Niang hit 4 threes off the bench, scoring 16 points. This Denver defense is just non-existent whatsoever, and they cannot deal with the pick and roll. The amount of times that it was either Donovan Mitchell or Mike Conley running a pick and roll with Rudy Gobert and throwing a lob up there is just unacceptable. I mean, Jokic is such a big liability on that end, and Gobert absolutely dominated this matchup. And do I think I don't expect Denver to have another 87-point performance, but I mean, these last two games have definitely been worrisome because not just this game that they like lost by over double digits. I mean, close to 40 points this game. They lost by 19 the other game as well, and that was without Conley. So now that Conley's back, first game back, I mean, congratulations to NBA players who just become dads because apparently you're just going to become a beast. Just as Fred VanVleet and now Mike Conley. I mean, being a dad just gives you these new superpowers, I guess. But another dominating performance by Utah. And I've definitely underrated them. I mean, obviously, like I said, the Denver Nuggets defense hasn't bad, but they're finding offense. And Donovan Mitchell is just, even though it's only like probably his first game of this year, he's been just growing before our eyes. And it's been a really entertaining series from Utah, which I thought, it's going to be a rough series. It's going to be a rough offensive series for them, but they've definitely showed up. So good win for Utah. The next game, this was ugly. 102-94, Boston Celtics defeat the 76ers to take the commanding 3-0 series lead. Boston finally had the Kemba Walker game, scoring 24 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Jaylen Brown struggled throughout the game, but he had a really good fourth quarter, scoring 21 points, 7 rebounds, grabbing 3 assists. Tatum has struggled a lot this game, 15 points on 19 shots. And on the 76ers side of things, Embiid, another great performance, 30 points, 13 rebounds on 20 shots. Oh, where do I start with these Sixers, man? Firstly, it really started off bad, knowing that they just switched up their lineup once again, removed Matisse Thybulle out the starting lineup, added Al Horford in. They're so indecisive, it's really annoying. And the 76ers, this is their best defensive effort that they've put in this game. They played such good defense. They held Jason Tatum to 15 points, but they just cannot score. They just can't score. Firstly, Embiid played the least minutes out of anyone in the starting lineup. What the heck is with that? He has, just look at the shot distribution. Tobias Harris, 19 shots. Embiid, 20 shots. 17 shots for Josh Richardson. 18 shots for Shake Milton. You're just shooting with whatever, and you need Embiid to be the focal point of that offense, and they're just not doing that. And they had their chance. This is the game that they had to win. They were winning by 2 points with 1:30 seconds left. And they were winning 94-92. What happened after that? The Celtics went on a 10-0 run to end the game. Unacceptable. Embiid, horrible decisions down the stretch. Just final 2 minutes. This guy was forcing it. This guy was making errant passes. And once he made a mistake, he would do what Embiid does. He sulks. And when he sulks, he doesn't get back on defense, and easy buckets for the Boston Celtics. The Celtics got the dagger from Kemba Walker to basically put this game out of reach, but the 76ers team is a whole mess. I've preached this for the last couple of weeks now, and this game was just perfectly emblematic of it. In a game where Jason Tatum, their best player, played really bad, the 76ers scored 29% from the field. 29, 23% from three. It hurts my brain just watching what happened yesterday because they had this game. The Celtics, we're letting them stay in this game, but they just cannot do it. They just need a whole overhaul in the offseason. If I'm a 76ers fan, I've seen a lot of them, I feel bad for y'all. You guys trusted the process for this many years, and this is kind of the result of it. They just need to have a whole overhaul and just honestly look towards the offseason because this is going to end pretty quickly. So, good win for Boston, but anything, it just shows the major flaws that Philly has in their system. Then we move on to the final game of the evening, and we have the LA Clippers winning 130-122 to take the 2-1 series lead over the Dallas Mavericks. Kawhi Leonard, what is there to say about this guy? This guy's absolutely amazing. Another great game, 36 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. Landry Shamet, this guy was absolutely fantastic throughout this entire game, whether it was hitting the three or even dunking. He dunked on Boban, so, good dunk there. 18 points, 3 rebounds this game. Zubac, 15.6 rebounds. And, Paul George, another struggle fest game, 11 points on 16 shots. And on the Dallas side of things, Luka, triple-double, 13, 10, and 10. But sadly, he left the game in the third quarter due to a sprained ankle. He tried coming back, but then the Mavs pulled him out because it just didn't look good. But good game from Kristaps, 34 points, 13 rebounds. Tim Hardaway, 22 points. And then Seth Curry with 22 off the bench. This is a pretty rough game because Dallas, their defense definitely showed they really cannot handle that much from the offensive end. I mean, Kawhi Leonard absolutely torching the entire game. And I think this was like one of the better games like from the defensive end for the Clippers. I mean, for the majority of the game, they were able to handle the Mavericks offense. But Seth Curry, another fantastic game from him, scoring over 20 off the bench. And they still don't have an answer for Porzingis. But the game really did change when Luka left, and it really stalled their offense. But the Dallas Mavericks bench really did like try to keep them in it. I mean, they got to single digits at some point, but they just didn't have enough firepower to win at the end. I mean, they have no answer for Kawhi Leonard. That really is the case. I mean, there's no one there to defend him, and when he's awesome defensively, he is like one of the best in the league to do so. I mean, one of the best two-way players in this league, if not the best two-way player. And it was just a great performance from him. I mean, he's the one guy in the Clippers where you're like, okay, we know we're going to get this out of him. But what about the other guys? I mean, Paul George, another bad night. He talked about after the game how offense is not his forte. And he says, like, you don't expect him to do James Harden stuff. But I'm just looking there like, yeah, but you have to do better than 11 points. I mean, sure, maybe defense is like the biggest point, but you got to produce more on the offensive end. And there was another struggle fest game for Paul George. But, I mean, the Clippers looked pretty good this game. I mean, hopefully Luka can come back game 4 and be at good health. But the Clippers look good. I think this is something they can build off on, and maybe this could be kind of the beginning of the end for the Mavericks. But, that the bench is going really good. And if Luka can come back and look and play the way he's been playing, I think this could still go the distance. Maybe not 7 games, maybe 6 games, but this is going to be a very entertaining series come forward because these teams do not like each other. They're very chippy throughout the entire game. Even throughout this entire series, they've had the chippiness about them, and they're going for each other's neck. So this is going to be a very entertaining series going forward. And this is going to end today's recap. Thank you guys for watching. If you're on IGTV, remember to leave a follow, drop a like, all that good stuff. If you're on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. That'd be very much appreciated. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to today's recap. I'll come back tomorrow for another one. And thank you guys for taking time out of your day to listen to this. So yeah, hope you all have a great day. Take it easy, y'all. Peace.